Okay, I'll spill the beans here just to you. Okay, yes, he is. He is Snoke. He is. No, I'm not even going to go there because it's just.
You're starting.
Everybody, calm down.
Good to see you back in Star Wars.
Thank you.
So let's back it up, because Snoke's death was not only shocking, but it was also like, okay, now we got to say bye to Andy Serkis already. We thought you were done with Star Wars, but boom, back, incredible. How did this happen? But also, how did you decide that you wanted to do it?
I mean, look, I was offered it and by Tony Gilroy, and I was in two minds at first because I thought, oh my gosh, there were so many Snoke theories flying around, and this is just going to be so confusing for everybody. Everyone's going to think that Kino Loy is related to Snoke in some way. How am I possibly going to get through? And by the way, I'm telling you now, he's not. So I just didn't want people to go down that rabbit hole. But the way that Tony, look, I was a huge fan of Rogue One and Tony as a filmmaker and storyteller. So I really loved the part when he explained it to me. He talked me through it. We had a long conversation, and then when I read the script, it was just like, yeah, I'm in. And whatever the consequences, it's great to be back, and great to be back, sort of diametrically opposed from the likes of the world of Snoke and into the gritty world of the grey kind of area of Star Wars, which has very complex and emotionally kind of gritty characters all the way through it, and also to work with Diego. It was such a treat and an honor to do so. The set for the prison ship for Narkina 5 was extraordinary, and it was every bit as big and grand and epic as any film set you've ever been on. It was, and the detail in it. I think we all know, we've reached a time where the boundary between cinema and what we see on the TV screen is almost indivisible. You can't judge them you judge them in the same way. And most films, of course, end up streaming anyway. So it just doesn't. I mean, the great thing is about like this as a series is the ability to delve into the richness of the characters and the complexity of the characters in a way that you can't do in film, and that's what's so exciting. And a character like Kino Loy having a journey over a number of episodes is an example of that.
Yeah, is Narkina 5 not the most terrifying location in all of Star Wars? That place scares the hell out of me.
Really, really scary. And it's not like kind of spooky scary, like a haunted house scary. It's scary because it's so desensitizing, and bright lights and electrified metal plate floors, walking around in bare feet in a prison outfit that makes you lose your identity. It sort of messes with your head, and this whole kind of, it's like all of the prisoners are desensitized because they exist on a diet of punishment or reward. Punishment for not working hard enough, or reward by getting flavor in their food. So it's like they are like these. There's nothing sort of biologically tangible on the set. It's just surfaces and pieces of metal and tech. It was really messed with your head.
Well, everybody settles down right now.
Kino, I think, at heart is a genuinely good man who does care about the greater good and the welfare of others. When he's incarcerated, he shuts down and becomes this cold, toughened, leader that has to function just to get through the day and to get out. He just wants to get out of prison. At the end of episode 9, we see him being reignited by the rumors that have been floated around that perhaps they'll never be released. And Cassian has been instrumental in helping him find his own truth again. And as he goes into the next episode, realizing that it's like the scales have fallen from his eyes now, and it's a horrific moment of realization that they are never going to be released and that they have to do something about it. And actually, it's the best thing, because for him it completely puts himself in touch with his inner truth and back to where he knows he's actually able to affect change, which is to speak up for the power of the individual joining in with the collective to change the course of the future. And that's the journey he goes on through episode 10.
I've seen this your role described as a cameo. I'm hoping not. Can you say whether this is a limited role? Do you think Kino Loy has a lot more to do?
Who knows? Who know? I have no idea. Look, I've loved playing him to this point. So I guess we'll figure out what happens.
I love it. Okay, you already addressed this, but I can feel the comments I'm going to get for even asking. But there are theories in the depths of the internet that Kino is young Snoke. Get it out of the way. Is there any connection between Kino Loy and Snoke?
Okay, I'll spill the beans here just to you. Okay, yes, he is Snoke. He is. No, I'm not going to go there because it's just. You're
starting.
No, he's not at all. Let's just put that one out of everybody's mind. He's so not.
I fear I was mistaken.
It was just announced that Kelly Marcel is directing Venom 3. Are you excited about that? And was that something that you ultimately decided not to do?
I mean, I knew I was always only really ever going to go in to do Venom 2 because of the amount of work that I'd done on all the projects, as I'm saying, that's lined up on my slate. So no, I was lucky enough to be the custodian of that franchise for a little while and work with my dear friend Tom Hardy, who was, so brilliant to work with, and Kelly. And I think it's a great move to have her direct. She's so ready for it, and it is going to knock it out of the park. Yeah. I'm very, very happy to have had that experience and now move on to, as I say, onto my own projects.
Well, one more thing I want to ask you about. You had the chance to be a part of Black Panther, and now Wakanda Forever is coming out. I'm curious if you've had the chance to screen it and what stands out about working with the wonderful Chadwick Boseman.
I mean, I loved that whole experience. It was just such a wonderful time, and Chad is just. I still find it very hard to believe that he's not around. His presence is still out there, and still, it's really hard to think of him not being about. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing Wakanda Forever. I know he'll live on through it in some way, in some very powerful way. And yeah, I really relish sitting down in the cinema and being a fan and watching it.
Andy, thank you so much for your time. You're always so incredible to talk to. I love catching up, and I'll see you on your next fandom project.
Thank you. Thanks. Lovely to see you.
Bye. Love you. Bye.